Hey everybody, how's it going? So recently I've been speaking to more journalistic outlets, news stations about right to repair as I try to get things pushed forward a little bit more and try to get awareness out to more people than just this YouTube channel and Reddit. And one of the things that keeps showing up that I think needs its own video is the premise and the idea of safety and security. Lewis, the manufacturers have serious concerns about safety and security. What are your response to them? Do you want to wait until the point at which someone actually is harmed in order to do something? Don't you want to act now? And one of the things that I've said when it comes to the safety and security and privacy claims made by manufacturers with regards to independent repair and what we're asking for is I just don't accept the premise. So someone said, when it comes to safety and security, don't you want to you don't want to respond to that problem now? And what I said to this particular journalist is, I don't accept the premise that this is an actual problem. So, for instance, let's say that you're working from home. And I said, well, you need to return to the office. It's very unsafe that you work at home. There's serious safety concerns when you work from home. And I just didn't tell you what they were. I just said, it's really unsafe that you as a Python programmer work from your house. That's very unsafe. We have serious safety concerns. Your first question would probably be, okay, can you give me an example of how that's a concern? Can you give me an example of something happening in the real world to a Python programmer that harms them because they were working in their home rather than in a cubicle in an office? Can you explain to me what your theory is as to how it is my request to work from home as a Python programmer is going to harm myself? And if you're not able to provide evidence, then what I say is that which has been presented without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. That which has been presented without an argument can be dismissed without an argument. If you're saying that it is incredibly dangerous to work on devices, well, okay, this is an over $4 billion industry in the United States. Surely I imagine you would be able to show us some examples. I mean, even if you're not able to get the statistics in your favor, even if you can't show that 5 or 10 or 15 or 20% of all people that have their device independently fixed wind up with their pants on fire from batteries exploding, or wind up with little screws sticking out of them that scratch them and then require they go to the hospital or some BS like that. At the very least, you should be able to come up with a sensationalistic story, right? You know, this is what the news is great at. Again, to be clear, I want to be 100% clear. I'm fully pro-vaccine, got my COVID vaccine. I think people should get the COVID vaccine. That being said, when I read on the news and it says this, radio host says that vaccine is bad, then dies of COVID. What they don't show you in that instance, they show you the 1 out of 10,000 or 1 out of 100,000 people that it happened to. They don't show you the other 99,000 people that didn't get it and are just fine. You don't even see that type of media manipulation that you're used to seeing when it comes to independent repair. You can't even give me one sensationalistic story where someone's in the hospital because they tried to fix their own phone. You can't give me one example where someone says, I just went to an independent repair shop and now my Robinhood account is completely empty. What's up with that? That didn't happen before I went to U-Break iFix or Rossmann Repair. It's not even that the statistical evidence isn't on their side. They don't even have sensationalistic stories. We don't even have that 1 in 100,000 case. So I refuse to accept it as a premise. I refuse to accept it as a problem. If you're going to say that something is a problem, you need to provide arguments and evidence. You cannot simply make blanket statements and pretend that these are real concerns. It's why I don't address the privacy and security concern, because it is presented without evidence. And because it has been presented from the manufacturer's lobbyists without evidence, in my opinion, it can be dismissed without evidence. I think that we live in a society nowadays that fetishizes safety and security in every way, shape, and form. And just one of the ways in which this is interesting to me is just take a look at how people work on their car. You're allowed to fix your brakes. I recently, when I went to Maine, I remember mentioning this one particular commercial that I saw where you saw a mom and her teenage daughter working on a car. And from the way the commercial looked, it seemed like this is their first time working on a car. They work on it. They go to drive it. They had a nice, good bonding experience together. In this country, you can take your 4,000-pound tank that goes 80 miles an hour down the highway, and you can service the brakes yourself. The brakes being the thing that allows you to stop this 4,000-pound tank as it's going 70 to 80 miles an hour down the highway if someone in front of you, gets in traffic or stops short. You're allowed to service that on your own. And we don't think twice about it. Yet when it comes to working on a cell phone, a laptop, a dryer, we then become people that are very deeply concerned about your safety. We're not going to tell you how. We're not going to give you even one sensationalistic example in a country of 320 million people. I have not been to a single hearing in the past 6 to 7 years where an anti-right to repair lobbyist brought up a single citation for one sensationalistic story as to why safety and security is very important when it comes to why we should refuse people right to repair. I don't accept the premise. And I don't think you should either. And I think the response when they say, what about the safety and security? Lewis, what about the safety and security? The manufacturer brings up serious points about safety and security. Okay, what are they? Read them to me. Tell me what they are. Every single journalist that has ever asked me that question has silence right after. Every single one. Not a single one of them can cite what the manufacturer's concerns about safety and security are. Because they don't have any. They made it up. And I hope that people stop asking me that question. Probably won't, but it is what it is. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.